and member of the New York State Bar Association Committee on Courts and the Community. That's not his personality at all. He probably is the jokingest one of them all. He's always asking me to tell him a joke. Cornelius J. O'Brien, graduate of Fordham University, 54, Fordham University School of Law, 59. Served in the United States Army, thank you, 54 to 56. After several years in private practice and service with the federal government, he joined the staff of the Queens County District Attorney, 67. Chief of the Appeals Bureau, Executive Assistant District Attorney, Criminal Court in 1977, served as an acting Supreme Court Justice beginning in 82, elected to the Supreme Court for the 11th Judicial District in 88, and appointed to the Appellate Division in 92. Many of them come from the Supreme Court. They're there to discipline the judges of the Supreme Court. There's too much cousinism there. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. Franklin K. Lane High School, Brooklyn Law School. 55. Specialized in criminal law. Veteran of World War II. Thank you. Sergeant in the 92nd Infantry Division in Italy. 3 battle stars. Combat Infantry Badge and Purple Heart. Thank you. Elected to the New York State Senate in 65 and served until 68. Chairman of the Joint Legislative Committee on Child Care Needs. Sponsored over 25 bills that were signed into law. 69, he was elected to the New York City Council. Justice Thompson was elected to the Supreme Court, 2nd Judicial District, 74, designated to serve in the appellate term in 76. In 80, he was appointed by Governor Carey to the Appellate Division, 2nd Department. His eyes are green. You get up close to him and his eyes are green. And I believe that completes all of the reports on A Chat with Glendora as to what's wrong with lawyers and what's wrong with our courts and what's wrong with our judges from April the 18th, 1996, last Thursday, to today, Thursday, April the 25th, 1996. A Bible passage. Romans 14, verse 12, so then every one of us shall give account of himself to God, and every one of you, judges and lawyers, and you've got to realize that every minute of the day you stand before God. 3 jokes, and the report is over for this week. Why did the bunny rabbit ask artist, your colors are beautiful. I wished I could take them home with me. And the artist says, oh, you will, ma'am. You're sitting on my brushes. This is A Chat with Glendora. There's a lot of evil in this world trying to take your rights. Don't you let them do it.
Maintain a connection with it.
But you don't teach Kabbalah meditation, though.
No, but what I teach is very similar to the most esoteric forms of the Kabbalah.
It is.
Very
mystical,
similar.
because Kabbalah is very mystical.
Yes, and what I teach goes right into that. It doesn't use the same terminology, but if you analyze the two of them, you would find that the two of them are very close to each other in their most pure form.
You have a big following. You have, what, 10,000? You have students, no? I thought, you told me you had students all over the world.
I have students in Paris, Zurich, Israel,
Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah, I travel a lot. Germany, in Berlin.
But you have centers, meditation centers?
In some places I just go and people come and meet and we do meditation together.
And you don't have a robe, you don't have a uniform, you don't have any of this.
Thank God.
Thank God. He just want to be, strappé modern man, caring man, spiritual man,
I just
businessman.
basically want to live in the world and outside the world at the same time.
I wish there were more time because you were talking about spiritual sex. Listen, we have to wrap it up, literally. Could just before we leave, is there such a thing? You said spiritual sex. I heard you say that during one of your talk. We have 2 seconds to say what spiritual sex is.
Spiritual sex is learning how to use your sexual energy to transform your humanness into higher creative energy.
Oh, well, I don't know if people want to really hear about that. It was absolutely wonderful speaking with you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I am Capri Sattler. We just spoke with a man of great caring. Thank you for watching. Au revoir. À bientôt, j'espère.
Glendora, prepare for trial. The orders to show cause you signed have taken 18 hours out of trial preparation time. Then you scheduled a hearing at 3 p.m. When? Are they going to kill anybody? Well, you got to be a special kind of stupid and devious to do what Ben Wiles did and John Wicker did. It's ridiculous. Well, I can't read you the papers and my refutation of them. They went out this morning to be reduced for the mailing. So I don't have them here to read to you. But one was about 6 pages and the other one was just 2. So things are bad enough, aren't they? With law-breaking and greed and monopoly of TCI, Magnus, Malone, et al. They're bad enough. But don't you think that a lawyer can't make them worse? A lying, greedy lawyer can't make them worse. And listen to this, what happened. On Wednesday, yesterday morning at 9 a.m., April the 17th.
Good morning, 9495.
Hi, it's Kenley.
Hello, Kenley.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay. I'm calling you because I also just gave this information to the defendants, and I wanted to make sure that you knew about it. They had called us
I'm sure.
about the addresses and the local Rule 2 and the home addresses of the defendants, wondering whether that was a matter that should be handled by Judge Fox or by Judge Connor.
It's already decided by Judge Connor.
Well, Judge Connor has said that if they have any problems with that issue, they should raise them in front of Judge Fox.
Okay, so we have another ruling in favor of the defendants.
Excuse me?
I say we have another ruling in favor of the defendants by Judge Connor.
What are you talking about? Oh, well, the decision is not made, but the decision...
No, but the decision that Judge Connor shall cop out and that Judge Fox will do it is made in favor of the defendants.
Well, Glendora, I'm not going to argue with you about it. That's what the judge...
Another move in favor of the defendants by Judge Connor.
Glendora, I'm not going to argue about it. I just was calling you up...
Now listen, I want you to put that in writing. I don't...
If you have anything to say to Judge...
I have things to say. You put that in writing. You put that in writing. I am not taking any more of these where the defendant calls you and the defendant manipulates you and Judge Connor rules in favor of the defendant and Kenley Ames calls Glendora and says what the defendant was able to manipulate Judge Connor to do. I want it in writing.
If you would like me to keep you apprised of what is going on...
Yes, I do, and in writing.
Not.
And in writing.
On the phone.
And in writing. I request that you put that in writing. I request that you put that in writing. I must have a record of it.
Sir, we are not going to handle this case any differently than we handle any of our other cases.
Irrelevant. I want what you just said to me in writing.
If you would like a ruling in writing, please send me a letter. I'll show
No,
you.
I don't have to. I don't have to. I have made my, in oral response to your oral telephone call, I have made my request in writing. Okay, I'm still recording here. I want that in writing. Gina?
Yes.
This is Glendora.
Well, Glendora, how are you?
Very bad. Kelly just hung up on me. I request that what she said over the telephone to me be put in writing.
All right, why don't you hold on 1 second, okay?
And I am tired of this court not having a record. And I'm tired of this court being manipulated by the defendants up in Albany.
Glendora,
I want what she said to me in writing, Gina.
Glendora, I'm not the person to speak to. Can you please hold on? Hold on 1 second, okay?
I want it in writing, Gina, and I want you to give Kelly that message.
Hold on 1 second, Glendora.
Yes, Judge Connor, I want your decision in writing. That you are not going to do anything about enforcing your order that the defendants supply the home addresses in 10 days as of February 26th.
Well,
So, we have censorship again. Okay, we have censorship again. You hear that there's no audio. So we have TCI censoring a chat with Glendora again. You hear that? There is no audio. It's a good thing the camcorder was going to show you the last. A chat with Glendora on Channel 8. So how do they make that good? Okay, the time is 9:04 p.m. The audio went blank. 9:08 p.m. And the audio, 9:10 really, and the audio went blank at about 9:07 p.m. So this was censorship just about when Judge Connor was to come on And just about as TCI was to show you how biased Judge Connor was. And just about as Judge Connor said to Glendora, "Now look, Glendora, I understand that you think that I'm biased against you and in favor of the defendants. I'm a senior judge, Glendora, and I don't have to be on this case if I don't want to be. Do you want me off this case and give it to another judge?" "Yes." "All right then, I'm off the case. Thank you." And that was the end of Judge Connor. So you can hear there is no audio on Channel 8. And just as before, it's being censored by TCI. So I have to move the typewriter here, set up the camcorder, and get it onto the TV screen. Bring up another automatic control here. Isn't that interesting, Franklin? That TCI censored right there in front of everybody, and there's no more Channel 8, and how are they ever going to make it up? The date is April the 30th, 1996, and the time is 9:11 p.m. Let's pull it out here and get a longer shot of it. Isn't that pretty good, huh? How we just turned down the audio all over the system because Judge Connor was about to show what a crooked judge he is. So you can hear there's no audio. So we had best go over there the first thing in the morning and get that tape and bring it back. You can hear that the audio has been censored again by this crooked company and by all these crooks whose name you see on the screen. What do you see, Franklin?
Program 2079, Chapter 47.
April 18th, 1996. What do you see?
Just a picture and no sound.
You hear no sound.
I think they bring it back.
Bring it back? Why would they bring it back when they're censoring?
Or maybe they were just going to not use
Judge Connor?
Judge Connor.
Okay, we're making a record of it.
Good evening.
Who is it, please?
This is Patricia.
Is this 632-6909?
626900.
Okay,
All
sorry.
right, sir.
Sorry.
Okay.
Bye. Censorship.
Hello?
Hi, Brian.
Yeah.
Would you like to see censorship in action?
Yeah.
Okay, turn on channel 8.
Okay, hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you see the video?
Yeah.
But the audio's not there.
That sounds out anyway.
Yep.
Did
That's,
you have a problem like that once before?
yes, they did it.
Was
This is,
that written into one of your complaints? Is it where it so that?
yes, yes. And so it happened again tonight, just as I was, just as Judge Connor came on the phone and recused himself from my case. They censored the audio just then.
You know, the funny thing is about TCI, and I bet you have the same grievances, when you discover a problem, see my show's on Saturdays, right? You discover a problem, you can't call them up and say, hey, turn up the audio, you know? If you
Brian,
show on during
Brian.
the time out, but almost all this stuff is when they're closed, when their offices are closed.
Right, Brian, is the show censored?
Yep. I'll
Okay,
witness that for you.
okay.
I would tape it, but you really can't prove you didn't somehow doctor the sound. You know, so I don't
Brian,
know if you
Brian,
did, now that proves that.
Brian,
But I would witness it.
Brian, it is being taped and so are you.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Then I'll sign an affidavit.
Just as Judge Connor came on the phone and recused himself from my case. They censored the audio just then.
You know, the funny thing is about TCI, and I bet you have the same grievances, when you discover a problem, see my show's on Saturdays, right? You discover a problem, you can't call them up and say, hey, turn up the audio, you know? If you
Brian,
show on during
Brian.
the time out, but almost all this stuff is when they're closed, when their offices are closed.
Right, Brian, is the show censored?
Yep. I'll
Okay,
witness that for you.
okay.
I would tape it, but you really can't prove you didn't somehow doctor the sound. You know, so I don't
Brian,
know if you did,
Brian,
now that proves that.
Brian,
But I would witness it.
Brian, it is being taped and so are you.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Then I'll sign an affidavit for you if you want.
Okay, no, it's,
But I mean, I could on my
The last-
VCR,
this
on my
is-
VCR, I could flip the sound not to be there.
Brian,
Yeah.
the tape, the show is being censored right before your very
Yeah.
ears.
I agree.
Good evening, 9495. Yes. You want a happy book? Okay, just a second. Somebody will get your name and number.
Yeah, this is very weird.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello there?
Yeah, I'm still here. You want to
No, I'm finding out the other parties there. Are you there? I believe he hung up.
Well, maybe I'll get back to you.
Hello? Okay, leave the line open anyhow.
Maybe you went off to...
Okay, Brian, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, by the way, I got your thing on this today. Just want to let you know that.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm trying to just decide. I still haven't filed the thing. I'm trying to decide.
Let me talk to you over, okay? I have a censorship program here.
Yeah. Listen, why don't you talk to me later on? You might want to get a few other people to witness this too, you know?
Oh, okay.
All right?
All right.
See you later.
Bye-bye, Brian. Okay, the time now is 9:17 p.m. How are they going to make that up if there's no more system-wide Channel 8
That's right.
doing public access?
No, they can't. That's why they did it. That's why they did it. You watch that.
into the hour of 9:19 p.m. 9:17 p.m. The person who called for the happy book hung up. So, it's the same thing that they did on when was it, March the 12th? We have a record somewhere. This is the old kinescope, you know. This is how, before they had videotape, this is how you got a record of a program off TV. They simply aimed a film camera at the TV screen, and that was called a kinescope. And in the early days of television, that was all we ever had, because everything was live. Isn't that something?
Yes.
Same thing that they did before.
Exactly.
Well, that's good. That makes my lawsuit that much easier.
Sure. That's right. The last night before they took Channel 8 off, he didn't have the sound.
Particularly when Judge Connor came on
Yeah.
and showed himself to be biased
That's right.
and refused to put in writing the manipulation by Ben Wiles over the phone from Albany, the manipulation of the court. This is how Glendora lost her defendants, through Ben Wiles manipulating over the court, over the phone. And this is how Glendora lost when they defaulted, when they failed to answer in 20 days, as the summons said. And Judge Connor let them go over the telephone, and Glendora wasn't even present. It was behind Glendora's back. It's what you call ex parte. And how the court granted Malone, Magnus, and TCI et al. 23 days late answering, instead of granting a default judgment in the favor of Glendora. This is how Judge Connor was biased from the beginning, when he denied the temporary restraining order and the preliminary injunction. And so, the crooks win. They don't really win. They really lose. And the courts let them violate Congress's mandate for public access tomorrow, May the 1st. No more system-wide Channel 8. So we have crooked lawyers and corrupt courts. And that's all it takes to violate constitutional rights and the rights given us by Congress and by the New York State Legislature. Okay, for those of you who tuned in late, the time is 9:20 p.m. on April the 30th, 1996, Tuesday. The last night of Channel 8 system-wide for public access. And what you're witnessing right before your very ears is censorship. The video's there, but the audio has been turned off. And this is the same thing that happened, I believe it was March the 12th. This is the second time that they did it. And how are they going to make this one good?
They made the other one good, they'll have to make this one good some way.
Yes, they made the other one good, only after they promised and didn't do it the second time. I don't hear any voice, do you? No, there isn't any voice. Let me go over and turn up the audio for you. just as high as it can go. This is the audio button right here. Now we'll go to another channel and show you that there's plenty of audio. Let me turn it down before I do that, though. It'll hurt your ears. We'll go to channel 9.
Chevy Camaro Z28.
Now let's go to channel 7.
What color?
Old cappuccino Montezuma, everything.
So you see there's plenty of audio, but not for a chat with Glendora when it reports the truth about Judge Connor and when it reports the truth about John Malone and Bob Magnus and TCI and Brendan Clouston and Miles Rich and Barry Marshall and all of the directors of this crooked company. Would this be a good program to submit to for cable casting over Channel 10?
That ought to be the first one they have on.
Franklin says that should be the first one they have on Channel 10. And what is the time now? 9:25. This program was edited at White Plains Public Access. The character generator at TCI is really quite sophisticated, quite good. Amiga. So folks, you are my witness. No audio on Channel 8. The last night, the Channel 8 is a lot. Now you and I are going to stay with this, and when you see program change at 9:30, you're going to see plenty of audio and hear plenty of audio in the next program. So here's censorship in action. Isn't that great? You'll see a flicker in the video because the video doesn't match it. And the camcorder doesn't match the video that's coming off of the cable TV. Now we're going to go down to Channel 7 again and show you this audio. Let me turn down this audio slightly so as not to blast your ears.
1-592-1551. That's 1-800-592.
Tony's relatives were wounded. Tony was shot and killed, and his murderer is still out there. Las Vegas is a city of fun and excitement, but there's another Las Vegas just north of the high-stakes casinos and hotels. In these tough neighborhoods, residents gamble every time they step.
Welcome back. We're talking about the...
See? No audio in Channel 8. Censored. Censored by the lawbreakers. Plenty of audio on Channel 7. No audio on Channel 8. Plenty of audio on Channel 9.
When he started going to school, he come home, he have his homework, and sometime else.
Time now is 9:27 p.m. Wait until the program changes to the next program, which is usually the Helen Larson show. See, TCI doesn't want you to know these bad things about them. TCI has broken the law, that's number one. The next thing is to lie about it. And the next thing after that is to cover up. So here's the last to chat with Glendora, reporting on TCI, on system-wide Channel 8. And they don't want you to hear it. We've dealt with a lot of crooked cable operators, but these take the prize. These lawbreakers, Malone, Magnus, and TCI, and Clouston, and Marshall, and Sullivan, and Wicker, and Brown, and Magarelli, and Dunn, and Rich. These people take the cake when it comes to lying, when it comes to breaking the law, when it comes to covering up, and when it comes to selling your soul. Since TCI can't cablecast its own bad record, we send it to other cable companies. Manhattan and Nassau and East Hampton, in Yorktown, in Yonkers. Time now is 9:29 p.m. is coming close to the break. You're watching censorship right before your very eyes and ears as TCI plays the video for a whole half hour here. Well, up until from 9:04. They stopped it around 9:04, 9:05. They stopped the audio just as Judge Connor came on the telephone and said, "Look, Glendora, I understand that you think I'm biased in favor of the defendants and against you. Now, I'm a senior judge, Glendora, and I don't have to be on this case if I don't want to. Do you want me off this case and give it to one of the judges?" Glendora, yes. Then I'm off the case. Thank you. Let's go over and take this call, and you watch that audio, folks, when it comes on, just for Helen Larson. Good evening, 9495.
Yes, hi, this is the right number to call for the Glendora book?
Yes.
Hi, should we leave you our address?
Yes, just a second, I'll take it down.
Okay.
What is your name?
My name is Mark, M-A-R-C. I'm sorry.
Drive, okay.
Yeah, that's in White Plains,
White Plains,
New York,
okay.
10604.
04.
Is this Glendora?
Yes, it is, Mark.
Oh, hi. Okay, we love your show, and we were just watching now, and we saw the advertisement. I'm sorry if we called you so late.
No, that's all right. Mark, what is your telephone number?
949
Yes.
8937.
Do you have any audio on your TV set?
No, we don't. As a matter of fact, that's your audio is out there.
Yeah. Now watch, Mark. I want you to stay tuned just as the audio comes on for the next show.
Okay, thank you, Glendora.
Mark.
Yes.
No, I want you to witness that TCI censored.
Oh, okay.
I want you to witness. Now watch, Mark, when Helen Larson comes on.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, now listen to the audio coming up on Helen Larson.
Okay, and you have our address if you need,
Yes, and I did.
Okay.
And you said you love my show, and we love you too.
Thank you.
All right, Mark.
Okay, good night.
Thank you. Good night. No audio on Helen Larson. This is more cover-up. I wonder if the rest of the night they're going to have audio, Franklin. Okay, it's 4:30. The year is 96. Anno Domini. The day is Tuesday. The time is 9:30 p. Censorship. TCI. Gee, Helen, you look beautiful. I'm sorry they're censoring your show, too. All right, let's call TCI. TCI. T. TCI White Plains. TCI. Let's see what happens.
Good evening, TCI. That is speaking. How can I help you?
Yes, there's no audio on Channel 8. There's no voice on Channel 8. There's no sound.
Okay. I'll take it with the head end and I'll make sure they fix the problem. Okay, sir?
Yes, thank you. What is your name?
Danny, D-A-N-I.
D-A-N-I.
Yes.
And you will talk to the head end.
Yes, I will.
I will stay tuned and see if that problem is corrected.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Good night.
Let's try to straighten some of that out tonight.
There's your audio,
One of the
folks.
letters That Mrs. M wrote, I have always
There's your
heard
audio.
that our
Just as soon as the chat with Glendora is off.
against cancer. You talk about
All it is a turn of the wrist.
them as being our main line of defense against cancer.
Okay, the time is 9:34 p.m.
Yes, the public...
I will report to you later.
Given information,
And this makes my lawsuit so much easier.
actually...
That is a cable operator exercising editorial control over public use of channel.
Your main line against the development of cancer.
Well, what's the difference?
Well, the
Good evening, 9495.
lymphocytes, granulocytes,
Hello.
phagocytes, which attack...
This is Glendora. Do you want a happy book?
Bacteria,
Yes.
molds...
Okay, just a second. Wait a second.
No, not cancer cells, unless...
This is Glendora. Who are you?
it's into your body from another
Yeah.
person or it's an animal, another animal.
Okay, wait just a second.
In the state...
I'm ready. What is your name?
From years ago,
Mitch, yeah, what's your problem with cable vision?
You want a happy book, Mitch?
Yeah, what happened?
Okay, what's your last name?
S-A-U-L.
S-A-U-L.
Yeah, I'm a fellow producer, and I was wondering what your problem with cable vision is. I don't like them either.
That's almost like a...
Okay, where do you want this happy book sent?
With those studies...
Send it to, 1 Wayne Avenue,
1 Wayne Avenue. Yep.
Suffern, New York.
Suffern?
Yeah,
Okay. New York. It's Mitch.
10901.
10901.
How long you been on TV, Glendora?
Well, I've been on TV all my life, 43 years. I've been on public access TV 23 years.
Oh, really?
Yes, Mitch, I'm going to talk to you. What's your number?
My phone number is 357
Mm-hmm.
3567.
3567.
Uh-huh.
You don't like Cablevision or you don't like TCI? Which one is it?
Well, I saw a graphic that you put on Glendora versus
Yeah, TCI.
Cablevision.
TCI, Cablevision?
Well, it said Cablevision.
Okay, what's your cable system up there? That'll help
Well,
me.
I'm on TKR.
Oh, okay. And that's Tuesday night right now.
You just went off the air. Or your show just went to black for some reason. Oh, it says, okay, now it just came back up. Call for a free.
Yes, I'm on there from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Yes, right. You're right about Cablevision.
What's, first of all, I mean, I've been in public access and leased access for the last 10 years myself.
Oh, good.
So I have my own cable show.
Yeah.
Runs twice a week here in Rockland. I was in Westchester for a little while and Manhattan for about a year and a half.
Oh, very good.
My own production company and advertising agency. So I have many, many clients that I produce commercials for, and then I also air them in every cable station in the United States.
Wow.
But with Cablevision, there are some, when I buy airtime there, they don't treat me right. They try to
Yeah.
clients.
Yes, absolutely. They're a bunch of crooks.
Yeah.
We subpoenaed 5 of them. They never showed up at the trial. They never spent any money on travel, and yet they cashed the checks for $350. That's how crooked Cablevision is and how cheap they are and how hard up they are.
Well, if you're on public access, you don't have to pay to air.
No.
So you just give them a show and they air it. So what was your problem with it, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, they censored my program. They took it off of TV because I was reading the bad record of the public officials in Nassau County.
Uh-huh. Oh, so it's all political.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's all political. The courts are all political. The judges are all political.
Of course. It's politics. Is that, it's good that I guess you're single-handedly trying to make a statement.
Well, I'm single-handedly almost trying to save public access from these crooks.
Yeah, well...
That's what I'm trying to do. And that's what these 3 lawsuits are about. Glendora versus Cablevision, Glendora versus Continental Cablevision, and Glendora versus TCI.
Uh-huh. What's your show shot on? VHS, Super V?
No. 8 mil.
8 mil?
Regular 8 mil.
Yeah. And, what, you just have it on the pod? Tripod?
You want to come down and hold the camera?
Well, you know what, I can just suggest something from the show that I'm looking at.
Uh-huh.
You have way too much headroom.
No. Who cares? It's public access.
It doesn't matter.
The only thing that's important there is the report, the message.
You know what, though? It's a visual thing, though, and you're back on now. And, you know, I mean, I also produce people as well, and I think your show is great. I think you have a lot to say. Just lose a little bit of the headroom from your top of the head.
There's supposed to be graphics there. Aren't there graphics?
Yeah, there are, but you still have like a foot over your head, and you know what happens is you can put the graphics down on the bottom.
Not all the graphics I use, Mitch.
Yeah, I know you.
Ms. Schaefer, 130 Town Road, New Shell, New York, 10805. Thank you.
Message 1.
Repeat that message. I came in too late with the camera.
I want to go to a happy book. Ms. Schaefer, 130 Town Road, New Shell, New York, 10805. Thank you.
Message 2:09:07 p.m. Tuesday, April 16th. Yeah, I need one of these happy books. Name's Greg. Solari, S-I-L-V-E-R-I. Number 1, Larissa, L-A-R-I-S-S-A. Court, Claremont, New York, A-I-R-M-O-N-T. 10952. I gotta get one of these happy books, so I'm all set. Goodbye.
Oh, it's awful, Greg. I don't want you to be upset.
9:25 p.m. Tuesday, April 16th.
I'm all tangled up here in the cord.
Message 4:09:29 p.m. Tuesday, April 16th. Message 5:09:30 p.m. Tuesday, April 16th. You know, what are you doing playing all this garbage on cable? Message 6:09:33 p.m. Tuesday, April 16th. Yeah, I'd like a copy of Glendora's Happy Book, please. My name is Neil Murphy. I live at 81 Davis Avenue, New Rochelle, New York, 10805. Thank you. Message 7:05:22 p.m. Wednesday, April 17th. Message 8:10:56.
There's those lousy lawn machines.
April 19th.
Too early for this.
Hi. I'm Glendora, Franklin. It's Nancy. And I just hadn't heard from you in so long about this. Something's wrong. No, I trust you're all right. Bye-bye.
Get out of here, you lousy landscapers.
1 p.m. Friday, April.
Hi, Ginny.
Friday. Could be. Hello? Yeah. Oh, my life is dead. Hello?
Message 10:07:59 p.m. Friday, April 19th.
Yes, I'd like a copy of the Happy Book sent to my address, please. My name is PJ Rossi, R-O-S-S-I. I live at 81A Davis Avenue, New Rochelle, New York, 10805. Thank you.
We have 3 telephone lines.
11:08:01 p.m. Friday, April 19th.
Go away, lawn machines.
2 p.m. Saturday, April 20th.
That's 2 people having a conversation on our line. We don't know who it is. I'm glad you're getting a whiff of these lawn machines. They ought to be outlawed.
34 p.m.
They never heard of a rake?
22.
reform.
Make sure you read, if you can possibly do it, today's New York Post, which has an expose, a two-page expose on judges.
Two-page,
Hope to hear from you shortly.
two-page expose on judges. Hooray!
8:21 a.m. Tuesday.
The world needs that, and it doesn't need lawn machines.
Message 16. Expose on judges.
Two-page,
Hope to hear from you shortly.
two-page expose on judges. Hooray!
8:21 a.m. Tuesday.
The world needs that, and it doesn't need lawn machines.
Message 16. 9:08 a.m. Tuesday, April 23. Hi, Glendora. Howie Brescian. Calling you back. AM reporting. If you want to schedule a job, Glendora, you can just call the secretary.
He's a court stenographer.
761-6620. If you wish to speak to me personally, call me my private line, 686-1652. I should be on trial all day, though.
Well, he's not on trial. Somebody else is. He's doing the court reporting on it.
Take care. Hope all is well.
He's making the transcript. Howie Brescian.
Message 17-2:29 p.m. Thursday, April 25. Hello, Glendora. This is Mr. Walsh's office calling. This is to advise you that the hearing for Diane Rainey will be tomorrow, April 26th at 2 o'clock at the White Plains Courthouse. Thank you. Our number is 268-3800. Bye.
My PC 310 copying machine gave up.
7 p.m. Thursday, April 25. Well, Franklin, this is Matt Peter reading. I'm going to give you a call. I have a special program that we're coming up with under the Excel group, and I wanted to find out if you want to come to this special meeting with us. Message 18:10. Oh, message 17:2:29. Message 18:10. Up message 19:10:25 p.m. Thursday, April 25. Well, Franklin, this is Matt Fioriti again. I forgot to leave you a message that contact me during the day tomorrow. Message 29:03 p.m. Friday.
I was trying to show you the copying machine. So here's my old one, the first one, PC1, which is a whole lot better than the PC310. This one costs $500, the PC310 costs $300. Now I don't know what to do. Folks, is it worth it to send the 310 back to Canon and get it fixed? They charge you $125. No matter what.
72 Mark Hoffman, 93 Albatross Road, that's a town, New York, 11756.
11756 is Nassau County.
Message 22:10 p.m. Friday, April 26. Message 23:10 p.m. Friday, April 26.
This is Chatwick, Glendora, in Nassau County. That would, of course, be one of the accomplices of the defendants, Cablevision.
Friday, April 26. Please don't come to Nassau County. Stay away from Hicksville.
Stay away from Hicksville. That's Ginny Cat over here.
5:29 p.m. Friday, April 26. Hi, Glendora. This is Teddy Ruddy. I'm a big fan of yours.
Teddy Ruddy.
I really want a brochure, a happy book, or something. I really need to get some kind of correspondence from. Again, my name is Teddy Ruddy, and my address 138 Nevada Street, like Dayton, Nevada.
Nevada. All of these happy books have been sent out.
10:30 p.m. Friday, April 26. Yes, I had just called. My name is
Thank you for cable casting the program, Diane Rainey and Thomas Gardner
Be in touch.
in Hicksville.
And my number is 357-7170. Thank you. 516 area. Message 27-9:34 p.m. Tuesday, April 30.
That was last night. There were 3 calls for the Happy Book last night while the program was on TCI. For the last time on Channel 8.
End of messages. Answer off.
Now, if we pressed the play button, it would say messages 93% full, telling you that we'd better make a record of these, send out to Happy Books, which we have, and now we can erase them. So to erase them, you press this one. This is yes, confirm. That's to play the message. Okay, this little feller here erases them. And then the machine asks you, are you sure you want to erase them? And then you say yes.
Enter yes to confirm.
Yes, I do want to erase them. Yes, to
Messages
confirm.
erased.
So now you put this on to answer the calls.
Answer calls. Record messages.
And then you come home, and if there aren't any calls, it says this.
No calls. No messages. Answer off.
Answer off. So that means when the telephone rings, I have to answer. Ginny's looking around for her nests for the morning. Isn't this beautiful weather? This is May the 1st, 1996, my birthday. And this is the week of magnolias and forsythia and tulips and hyacinths. It's the prettiest week in the whole year. To do it. It's a short job, but I just can't get to it. There was no Cablevision log. That went out on Sunday, as it should have. I don't know whether it's 1 week behind or 2 weeks behind, and I don't know what the Cablevision costs are, and I don't know what the Cablevision hours are. When was the last time that Cablevision was up to date? I believe we got it up to date April 15th. It's 2 weeks behind. Weaving like that because she's purring. And she thinks it's our fault that we're keeping her awake. Franklin went through and he added up the Cablevision dollars. And I guess he added them up by the month. He's finished the 1993 book, and he's finished the 1994 book. Katie, don't chew a hole in the microphone cord. They're so cute with their hands. No, please don't chew the microphone cord. Okay, now. He just finds $1 in November. And let's see what he finds in December. $124, $123.85 the Cablevision law breaking cost me. Oh, wait, he did find some in November, in December of 93. That's $124.85. Bye, Kate. In January, $5.50, and and altogether $82.19. In February, $104.63. That's in 1994. And in March, $369.62. and in April, $78.67, and in May, $28.96, and in June, $149.25. This is the year 1994. And in July, $152.03, and in August, $153.68, and in September, $42.20, in October, $38.86, in November, $44.35, and in the last year of 1994, $16.81. In 1994, it says here, this is out of the account book, $1,261.25. So the total for those 2 years, 93 and 94, would be what? $124 and 120, that would be $1,400. Now, I haven't had time to go back to Cablevision. That's a good question. What do we do next on Cablevision? First, we try to get our $350 back that they stole from us. And then I'll go through all of the files, and I will add up the hours, continue to add up the hours that they have cost us of our lives. And then I want to write my jury charge for Judge Bryant to charge the jury and say what laws Cablevision broke and that Glendora is entitled to damages. And that, what else has to be done? There's quite a long list of things that have to be done, and that's in the jury trial preparation book. I have to use up the backs of these franchises. There's no need of that. They could print them on both sides and save the trees and save the environment. But we are using up the backs of the franchises that callagy, trying to prove his point, which he can't prove, that cable television in Nassau has to be done by the public within, the people who live there, and which is not a rule at all. And so we have to go through all these franchises, and Franklin had to number all the pages because they come out of there, you use them, and then they go back in. And I've forgotten how many pages there are. If I ever knew. What a pain. It's over 300. It's about 340. Use both sides of the paper. Anybody knows anything has two sides, and save the trees. In sum, we are in 3 courts with Cablevision still. One is the New York Supreme Court, Judge Silverman, making a decision whether to stand by his decision of keeping a chat with Glendora on TV. The only argument that Cablevision came up with was that the public within, but there's dozens of access producers who don't live in Nassau County. And then number 2, we're in the Judge Bryant court waiting for him to do our trial. And then we're in the U.S. Court of Appeals, and I have to write my brief to show why Judge Bryant should not have stayed the trial. A mother said to her daughter, "You've got to get married. Every woman needs a husband. There are just some things you cannot blame on the United States government." And the little 6-year-old ran into the house and says, "Grandma, Grandma, I dropped my lunch bag on the driveway and Dad backed the car over it." And Grandma says, "That's wheels on meals." And in Buffalo, there was this group of women who always met in one woman's house every month. They always met in the same room. And this particular night, they said, "What have you done to make this room look so much better? Did you get new carpeting?" And the hostess says, "No." And another woman says, "You got new wallpaper?" And the hostess says, "No." And a third woman says, "You have new drapes?" And the hostess says, "No." And practically all of the ladies in unison said, "What have you done to make this room look so much better?" And the hostess said, I took down the ironing board. Stop. Harry hit him. Harry jumped out and he says, couldn't you have given me a signal? Couldn't you give me a warning that you were stopping? And the man up front says, what, in my own garage? Now, there were tremendous efforts made. Let's see, Thursday afternoon, I kept working a half an hour at a time whenever I could find a half an hour at a time to write this long motion to Judge Smith for sanctions on these defendants for violating discovery, for not producing discovery, for evasive answers, for answers that didn't give the information, and inadequate answers. And so it's a tremendous paper, and a lot of it has been read to you already. So I had to keep writing on it and writing on it for a half an hour at a time. And so apparently nothing more got done on that on the 25th after coming home from editing at TCI. And I have a log here for Friday the 26th. And so the first thing at 5:30 a.m. To 6 a.m. I did part 2 of the Diane Rainey getting ready to depose her that afternoon, Friday afternoon. And 6 to 6:30 a.m. I did part 21 of the Big Smith paper, that big motion I was just telling you about. And I alternated a half an hour on Rainey, a half an hour on this Big Smith paper, and then a half an hour trying to keep up with the stuff to do around the house. And keeping track of the hours here. And so that's how Friday morning went. And then it was time to go to the courthouse to do the deposition. And the Rainey work consisted of these questions. And I asked, where were you born? Where'd you go to school? Where were your jobs? How did you get the job at Continental? She went to Fordham University, and then she worked in public relations firms for a couple of years. She worked for 2 or 3 of them. She heard about the job at Continental, and she applied for it, and she got it. And she started out as in charge of this kind of thing, government affairs and public access. And she said to whom she reported, and I asked, what do you know about Glendora? And she said nothing except the obvious thing about having the show on the TV. And I asked if she'd seen chat with Glendora only a couple times. Well, did you like it? And she said no. Did anybody ever talk to you about Glendora? And Glendora asked what her feelings were about public access. Oh, she thinks it's a great thing that people have their say. And she asked if you'd had any Glendora asked if you'd had any fights or arguments or disagreements with any public access producers. And she mentioned a couple and what changes were made in the cable casting, and she will accept my phrasing of it, that they cut my program down from every week to every other week. There was a dispute about Saturdays. Some months there would be 3 Saturday cable cast dates. You know, some months have 5 Saturdays, and so therefore the program would go 3 times. But Walsh never understood that, and neither did Rainey. And I found out when the idea first started with her to cut back our programs, and that was in July of 1995, and I said, did the idea come from within yourself? Yes. Not from without? No. It was entirely her idea. Melissa was having a hard time scheduling the new public access producers, but then when Rainey was asked how many producers were there 3 or 4 times, she failed to answer that. And so that just doesn't add up either. And did you consult with anybody before you made that decision? No. You didn't consult with your boss, Mr. Jenkinson, or with Mr. Sanders, or with Mr. No. Not without anybody else in the company? No. Now, do you believe that? That really doesn't add up. That a person on her level could make a decision without consulting any of the upper management. So my feeling about that is that they have, just the way they took and made Asnara and Cablevision bear the brunt of the decision, and that it was nobody else's decision, that to protect the upper management. So they pay them off in some way, give them something, make them say, I made the decision, entirely made the decision, and I didn't consult with my bosses, when the bosses really are responsible. Well, that still doesn't exonerate them from breaking the law. Diane Rainey broke the law, which is first come, first serve, and which is no cable operator can prohibit or limit any program for public access. So if cutting a program back from every week to every other week isn't prohibiting and limiting, what is? I asked her what she thought those words meant, prohibit, and what she thought limit meant. I don't have any notes here. I don't have any report. I remember it. So that is her story, and I asked her to produce to me by April the 30th, Tuesday, the number of new public access producers who were put on. She said, well, you have a list right there. It's 12 of them, and it doesn't seem that you should cut out 178 public access producers to put on 12 more, that it doesn't add up to every other week. I asked with whom in the company had she discussed the lawsuit, and that amounted to quite a few people. I asked a meeting of public access producers before we made that terrible decision, just rob us of our programs. That's an awful thing to do. She said, well, I thought I was doing a good thing. I thought I was helping new producers to get on. And Glendora says, well, you have all this channel space coming up, as you said in the newspaper, and there won't be any problem with getting public programs on. Why couldn't you have just waited? Glendora asked, why did Mr. Guthrie leave the auctioning system? Oh, he got a promotion. What's his new job? He's in charge of a rebuild for the whole region. It's very confusing as to what the region is. Apparently the region is the Northeast region, and apparently it's located in Andover. And yet Mr. Guthrie keeps, the mail to Mr. Guthrie at Andover keeps being returned. Do you plan to depose Glendora? Nobody seems to know. You see, nobody ever deposes me. Nobody ever got interrogatories because I tell the truth from the beginning. Do you belong to an association of public access managers? Well, yes. And I didn't go to the meeting last year, and I didn't go to the meeting the year before. They don't seem to converse much on the phone. They don't seem to know each other very well. And I asked her if the decision in the lawsuit had endangered her job. No. And she got a promotion in January of 1996 this year to the Director of Public Affairs and Government Affairs. Do you have a lawyer on the staff in the auctioning system? No. Was pressure put on you to make this change? And then we had a terrible semantic problem, although I think she knew what I meant. She said that no persons outside of Cablevision, of Continental Cablevision, pressured her to make this decision. But I say, yes, people outside, because public access, the new public access producers are from the outside. I asked her, did she ever say that public access was a pain in the blank, blank, blank? She said no. And I still haven't had time to listen to the Diane Rainey conversations I have on audio tape from years ago. And she didn't go to the meeting, to the press conference in New York City when Mr. Lillis, who is the CEO of U.S. West Media Group, and Mr. Amos B. Hofstetter when they announced to the press the merger. There's a picture of Mr. Lillis, and there's a picture of Mr. Hofstetter. Mr. Lillis is on the left, Mr. Hofstetter is on the right. Bob Hope is on the left. Then here's Katie Cat back again. Now, so the deposition started at approximately 2:08 p.m. Vera was my court stenographer. Rainey didn't really show any comprehension of the two laws, Title 47, U.S. Code 531E, that no cable operator shall exercise editorial control over public use of channel. She spoke about talking to the New York Cable Commission, Mr. Figliosi, and asking her about that. And apparently she didn't get any direction from him, according to her oral report of the telephone conversation. New York Executive Law, Article 28, Section 829.3, no cable television company may prohibit or limit any program or class or type of program presented over a leased channel or any channel made available for public access or educational purposes. And that's what she did. That's the law that she broke. Thomas Walsh was obstructive. It took so long to enter the exhibits, and so I just said, you know, the longer this takes, the less it's going to get done, and if it doesn't get done, Miss Rainey has to come back again. So things were a little better after that. So Franklin spent approximately his report as to what happened at the Rainey deposition. He will be by here to read it to you. I put away the files that were taken out for the Rainey deposition. As I say, Vera Monaco was a court stenographer. That deposition would cost me all of my Social Security check for the month of May, and that was totally unjust. Judge Smith should never have done that. She should have allowed it to be audio taped. As the pro se manual says, that's for people who can't afford court stenographers, and who can't afford, except the lying lawyers, crooked lawyers, who get so much money lying for people who have broken the law. And this apparently is the log for Saturday. And I plugged away at Smith's motion here, this big fat paper, most of which you've had read to you, and I will read the rest to you, and plugged away at that, and plugged away at that, and finally got it written, and finally got a master made, went to Office Max and had the copies made, and I'm going to give you the stats. The statistics as of today, not counting today though, as of the 1st of May, is 543 3/4 hours. Their law breaking of Continental has taken $1,047.59. This has gone on for 37 weeks. There's been no justice yet. There have been 44 TV reports. Or is it 49? 62 mailings, 9 volumes, and 2,400 pages of bad record of these lawbreakers, of a lying lawyer, and of the court record speaks for itself. 144 hours, and you multiply that by $250 per hour, which is what these lying lawyers get for their lying, to $136,000 done. These people who wrote the law, these people who lie about it, and these people who cover up, and the courts who don't get the job done.
Notes taken by Franklin Buell during the deposition of Diane Rainey on April 26, 1996. Miss Rainey said she graduated from Roosevelt High School, Yonkers, then from Fordham University in 1985. She worked for public in Manhattan for 7 years. In 1992, she came as Community Relations Manager. She will complete 4 years with Continental in July 1996. Governmental and public affairs with broader responsibility. 3 facets: overseeing governmental relations and handling general public relations and promotion. Ms. Rainey has 2 bosses, Sanders, General Manager at and at the Northeast Regional Office in Andover, Massachusetts. Dickinson reports to a Mr. Stevens, a Vice President in the Northeast headquarters. Note, in official stenographic transcript checked especially to see if Ms. Rainey specified which function she reports to Sanders on and which to Dickinson. Local programming would seem within Sanders' normal realm. If so, talking with him about changes would seem a first step. Melissa Cooper is Public Access Coordinator, one of 8 people who report to Rainey. Glendora asked if Miss Rainey has seen a chat with Glendora. Twice in my whole life, she answered, in my office. Walsh objected to questions about the program and what Rainey thought of it as irrelevant. But Miss Rainey answered the question, I have no feelings about the program at all. I do not dislike it. Glendora asked if anybody talked to Miss Rainey about Glendora. Only the cablecasters and Cooper. She could not recall what was said. Nobody talked to her about Glendora in 1994. How about January to June in 1995? Maybe Doug Guthrie before the lawsuit. It was a time when changing Glendora's time was proposed. Glendora called Guthrie. We were shifting schedules and Doug said, "Can you leave her, Glendora, where she is?" And no changes were made. More on the preceding paragraph. Miss Rainey said we were trying to juggle the schedule around. She estimated it was 1994. The plan was to switch Glendora's program from Saturday to Friday. Glendora said she had no idea of the content of the program at all. She said she had no idea who called Boston. But in setting aside the time change, Guthrie initiated the contact, she said. Glendora asked, "What are your feelings about public access?" And Glendora added, "Do you like it?" Rainey said, "Yes, of course. It gives the community opportunity to hear diverse viewpoints." She had said she has no negative feelings about public access. It is good to have that kind of a forum. Asked about changes in public access that she has seen, Ms. Rainey mentioned enthusiasm and much more participation. We get requests from new producers. Glendora asked how many requests a year, and Miss Rainey referred to the list of producers provided Glendora. You will find your answer in those documents. Glendora showed a list to Rainey and asked if Glendora were on it. Rainey could not find Glendora's name and explained, "The list was made for you, so we did not include your name." Glendora asked about complaints. Miss Rainey answered, "No complaints." Miss Rainey said she does not remember ever saying that public access is a pain in the blank. She was asked about no no disagreement, she began. And she said, don't say never. Maybe occasionally. She mentioned Glendora and Tiffany. How many shows does Ossining cablecast a month? I have no idea. You can consult the list. It was more than 100 shows a month. Asked to outline what she did with public access cablecasting between July and October 1995, Rainey said, letters and notified producers on Channel 19 that we would reschedule weekly programs to 2 times a month to accommodate extra requests for channel time. We were seeking more flexibility in scheduling to allow more people on the channel. And she said there was 0 room. And going back to the list that Glendora said, that Glendora has, Rainey said, everyone on that list has been on the air. You have the list. Sorry you don't agree with me. Glendora said the cablecasting of her show was changed from every week to every other week and requested that be the change, be the way the change is described. Paul said, we don't tell you how to pose your questions, you don't tell us how to answer. Then there was Glendora's reference to cablecasting 3 Saturdays in a month, and months with 3 Saturdays that nobody understood. Glendora asked if the idea of reducing the number of times programs were cablecast came from outside of you. The answer was no, and Glendora verified, then it came from within yourself. And Glendora emphasized, spoken to you about it. Nobody had spoken to you about it in the summer of 1995. Miss Rainey said Melissa Cooper was the first person she talked with about the change when Cooper asked her on the problem of no room for new producers who were waiting. Miss Rainey thought of the solution of reducing the cablecasting of programs now being shown. She answered negatively questions whether she checked it with any superior or so far as the public access laws go. Miss Rainey says she does not know the executive law that governs cable television word for word, but knows that we may not censor a program and are obligated by law to cablecast public access programs. Glendora asked that the file on the whole matter of reducing the programs be produced. Miss Rainey said Glendora has the entire file. Your application for channel time, the sample of access producers to be rescheduled, and a channel lineup that will be available by the 4th quarter of 1996. Rainey said that she had no written notes. She also said she did not consider the reduction a major change because you still have exposure on the system. Rainey said she had to take into consideration and admitting people on the system, letting more people on the channel. She added, I did not see it as breaking a law. Glendora referred to the first come, first serve aspect of the law. Mr. Walsh interposed that Rainey is not an expert on the law and there is disagreement on what the law says. Miss Rainey answered negatively the question, did you ever talk this over with Jenkinson? Glendora pointed out that Walsh said in court that Rainey talked it over with her supervisor. Rainey said she did not talk to any supervisor. Glendora went back to the first come, first served rule. She pressed Rainey on the Saturday spots taken away from Glendora. Glendora was in them now. Wasn't Glendora first come, first served? Mr. Walsh urged that any interpretation of the law should be a judicial interpretation. Glendora asked Ms. Rainey of limit. Rainey said boundaries or restrictions. Glendora asked about no editorial control. Ms. Rainey said that means no changing the content. She said the meaning of edit is to take out or add in or change it around. In reference to the meeting schedule for producers affected by the reduction, Rainey said only 2 or 3 responded. The meeting was canceled, and we dealt with questions individually. Ms. Rainey said after the lawsuit was filed, Glendora asked if Ms. Rainey had ever met anybody from U.S. West. It was no. After a time of July 1995, Mr. Walsh objected to questioning concerning events after September 1st, 1995, or the commencement of the lawsuit. Glendora objected to. Ms. Rainey said she talked to Louis, Sanders, Guthrie, Capra, Cooper, Banton, and Miner. Once in Boston in 1995, introduced to Hofstadter in April 1993.
Folks, we're going to do the rest of this without the light because it bothers Franklin's eyes. It's a 600-watt light.
Was started, he talked to me, and she called the New York State Cable Commission. She talked to Mr. Figliozzi. She said he wondered why you had not gone to the State Commission. He told me about the cable case and wished me luck. Ms. Rainey said there is a national association of people who have jobs like hers, government and public affairs. The association meets annually in March, but she hasn't attended in 2 years. She talked on the telephone, but Miss Rainey didn't talk with any member. Did anybody warn you of the probability of a lawsuit? Glendora asked. No. Did it occur to you to discuss it with Glendora? Miss Rainey said, I guess not. She asked Glendora, why didn't you call me when you got the letter? Glendora said her first reaction based on Cablevision experience was, you can't reach the cable operator. Miss Rainey said, we are different. We were able to accommodate you the last time. The situation is temporary. It is going away by the end of this year. That is very reasonable. The irrelevancy of any questioning after the commencement of the lawsuit. Ms. Rainey said she is working with local governments for a franchise. She said the Ossining agreement